Good morning and welcome. I'm Julie Thompson, Executive Director of PACTV, and today we're going to do a COVID-19 update for the town of Duxbury, in which we do this regarding seniors and the COA. We have Joanne Moore, who's the Director of the Council on Aging in Duxbury, and we're very happy to welcome back, as always, Kay Cooney, who's an advanced practice geriatric nurse and wellness coach. Welcome both to you ladies, and before we begin, everybody knows that this can be seen on Comcast Channel 15 in Duxbury and Verizon Channel 39, or go to pactv.org/live. If you have any questions during today's forum, please do email them to duxburyinfo@pactv.org. So Joanne and Kay, welcome. And Kay, I hear today's a special day. I can't hear you, ladies.
And hope you get to pick up a special dinner from Turk's, your favorite restaurant tonight. So we'll look forward to hearing all about vitamins, minerals, and supplements. Oh my, and we have lots to learn today. So thank you, Kay, for being with us today, and I hope you enjoy your special day.
Thank you, my friend. So I am the big 5'5" today, and proud of it. I've never been somebody who's like hid their age. It's just a calendar thing. But yeah, it is my birthday today. It's kind of odd. I know my family is off doing awkward things to try and surprise me while I'm doing this. So to my day, I am. So thank you so much. Welcome again to Wednesdays and K Talks. I hope all of you are enjoying this wonderful weather and doing well. Joanne, I wanted to ask you before we get started, because this has been the big week of the governor's reveal. What can folks expect right now with the senior center, and where are you guys in terms of opening? And I know your staff has not rested one bit through all this, but tell me what's up with that.
So we have been on tons of calls, both with MCOA, our state association, the executive office at Elder Affairs, and we will work closely with the Board of Health in Duxbury, the town manager, and emergency management. Other buildings in town will open before our building. We don't have that specific information yet. I'm assuming we will probably be in phase 4, which will be later this summer. We don't have specific dates. Our goal is to make sure that we have a safe environment and we're ready to welcome people in a manner that's appropriate. So right now, what our programming staff is doing, as you said, working their tails off, developing virtual programming, and they are knocking it out of the park. If you haven't tried a Zoom program, try it, because we're going to be virtual for a while. And just to let you know, we have Zoom socials, and that's how you can learn how to use Zoom, because it can be a little intimidating first, but people are enjoying it. They love seeing each other's faces and having a conversation in a very different way. Being there is always best, but being there via Zoom is the second best thing. So looking forward to seeing people on Zoom.
Yes. I have to tell you, this remote working and the having access to Zoom and doing so much by Zoom, I think is a blessing for a lot of people. So for busy moms, for single moms, for people with childcare, for older folks who can't get out with the same ease that they once did, this has not been a rough patch for us. We've really enjoyed being virtually connected to so many people.
Yeah, my mom and dad, my mom's from England, my dad's from Ireland, and we're doing Zoom calls every other week with our family. So we got to meet a great new baby in the family via Zoom who lives in England. And it's nice to see our relatives that we just don't get to see. So that has been a blessing.
Oh, wow. How exciting.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. Both my mom and dad have passed. I can't even begin to imagine my mother doing a Zoom. Oh, she would have been a nightmare.
I usually see the ceiling of my parents' house, but I hear their voice.
There you go. All right. So today, as part of this ongoing outreach to you guys who are watching and joining us, we are going to talk about supplements. And the reason why we're going to talk about supplements is for a lot of reasons. There are probably as many supplements available out there on the market as there are prescription medications, and they are relatively unregulated, and yet they're critical So one of the many hats that I wear is I'm working with the state of Massachusetts as a COVID tracer, and I reach out to positive cases and speak with them. And anecdotally, I'm hearing a lot from them about what they're taking, what they're doing, what are some of the things they're doing. And it's been fascinating to see the amount of folks that are leaning into supplements and the rationale, right? So the nurse scientist in me always wants to know, so what made you do that? What influenced that type thing? So what we're going to do today is today we're just going to talk about supplements in general and the how you know a good one from a bad one. Next week, we will start getting into some specifics, and this is really where I need your help. So, if you have a specific supplement, or you're thinking about, let's say, um, vitamin D or zinc, or let's see, MSM, some of the different anti-inflammatories. Let us know. Send an email in and ask us your questions about what do you know about, what do you think about, who should be taking, who shouldn't. And let's talk about the supplements specific to you guys. I would love to make this relevant for each and every one of you that is tuning in. So let's get to slide number one and what we're going to do today. So, this is what we're going to accomplish this week and continue next week. And I have not forgotten our chocolate chef. I am working with her to coordinate so that she can come on here and do a cooking demonstration with us because it's life changing. I love her and love eating chocolate daily. All right. So when we go on to the next screen, we talk about this is what our goals are for today. Our goals today are to get through what are supplements? Do we need them? Right? I mean, that's a big, legit question. Are they safe? And if they are, how do we tell the good ones from the bad ones? Right? So overwhelming when you get into the store.
Mm.
So if we go on to our next slide now, right? So that's where we're going. So let's go right to, and I put this up. Now, I get that this is going to be pretty small and difficult for you guys to read, but thanks to the wonderful people over at the Senior Center, they have uploaded this onto their website already. So you can you take a peek at this. What I wanted to give you was that has there been much research out there and studies on supplement use? And I was pleasantly surprised to find a ton. The National Institute of Health, which is in Bethesda, Maryland, is one of the largest funded bodies of research anywhere in the world. And my God, there's research on there, about the lint in your belly button. I mean, they're amazing. So there was an awful lot of studies. And what I can tell you is when I started looking at the studies, there was a lot of conclusive evidence about vitamins and supplements helping reduce the incidency rate of cancers, improved aging, pain reduction, lots of things. And so this is where the consumer, you guys, this is the most important message I can be delivering each week to you is you are the driver of the bus of your own health. And knowing and understanding your supplements is critical to having good health versus great health or poor health versus good health, right? Really important. So if you're a study person, take a peek at that, peek at this. You'll find that online on the Senior Center. So let's move on to what are supplements? What are they? So in the world of supplements, we categorize vitamins, minerals, nutrients, nutriments, which are food parts of food like curcumin, turmeric, right, would fall under that. Herbs, and it's anything that can be consumed safely falls in under supplements. So it's a pretty broad spectrum. They are very, very different from over-the-counter meds. So an over-the-counter med would be you going to the store and getting Motrin, or you going to the store and getting allergy medicine, right? Supplements are not over the counter. They are a completely different animal, and they are treated in the United States as food. Now, I think that's a really, really, really important point to make, and I'll explain why. So, understand that these supplements are not FDA regulated. Over the counter meds are regulated. So, you can have prescription meds that your doctor writes a prescription for. You can have over the counter, and those are FDA approved. Over the counter meds are also FDA approved, and they have to go through a series of trials to show that they are safe and can cause no harm. Supplements do not fall under FDA purview, they fall under food. Okay. So when you are when to the shelf, somebody has proven, has met the criteria that they are generally, it's called GRAS certification, GRAS, generally regarded as safe for consumption. Okay. So the spices in your supermarket, your salt, your pepper, your seasonings are all regulated in the same way that your supplements are. Okay. So because of that, you have really got to be astute. All that we know when you see a supplement on the shelf is that you can consume it. That's all you know. Okay. That's the burden of proof. There's two kinds of supplements. There are synthetic, and then there is natural. Synthetic means somebody took, somebody in a laboratory mimicked something that was naturally occurring in nature and was able to produce it cheaper. And natural means regularly found in nature and derived somehow, some way from a fresh food or plant. Okay. So from what we've talked about previously, there'll be no surprise to this. Whether you take a synthetic supplement versus a natural supplement greatly impacted the outcomes of the studies when they did them. So one of the issues is, and if you think about this, this is so it's so simple and brilliant. So if you bite into an orange, your body knows exactly what to do with all the particles of that and the vitamin C's. We are so perfectly designed. Your body just goes, and the nutrients start getting broken down, assigned where they need to go. When you take a synthetic vitamin C, your body sees that as a foreign body. It sees it as an antigen, and it kind of goes, I'm not really sure what to do with this. So when you see a lot of vitamins that make your urine really, really brightly colored, it is often because your body didn't know what to do with it, or it didn't need it. But often it's because it doesn't know what to do with it. So we want to stay as close to food based as possible when we're doing supplements so that our body knows how to absorb them. Also, one of the great tricks with taking your supplements is you almost always take them with food because the mechanisms in your body has been turned on to take out the nutrients, right? So if I sit and I eat a bowl of yogurt and granola and I take my morning supplements, the body doesn't know what was in the granola, what was in the yogurt, right? So you want to get it all in. That's one of those great stealth tricks to override that system. What you will find is that you can get tremendous benefit from many supplements, but there are some that will also cause problems. So a lot of these synthetically made, and we'll go through this, are full of sugar, filler, and toxic things that will cause inflammation. So buyer beware, right? But that's okay. We're savvy consumers around here. They can counteract with some of the meds that you take as well as over the counters. So when you're giving an honest profile to your doctor and your pharmacist, there are times I have seen doctors poo poo years ago, didn't want to hear about any of these supplements that you were taking. They're now looking to hear because they do have impact on the meds, and they should be included when your pharmacist does your drug interaction. So you want to list for your doctor and make sure, and your pharmacist. So at your pharmacy, as well as at your doctor's office, because at the pharmacy is where the drug interaction testing happens. You want to make sure you have your prescription meds, your over the counter meds, and anything you take as a supplement. Okay. All right, let's go on to our next one. So, do we need them? Okay. Now, please understand that a nurse or no nurse, I am the worst patient on the planet. My doctor always says to me, I can't decide if you're my favorite or my least favorite patient. And I always smile and I go, can't I be both? Right? A little bit of naughty never hurt anybody. So let me explain why I have finally, after 50 some years, finally made the decision to supplement and I'm really glad that I do now. So during last year, during the months of March and April, I was on an extreme food journey, learning all of these things and how to improve my health. And what I tried to do for a 30-day period was use no supplements and meet all of my body requirements with nothing but food, right? I'm going to tell you, it is near impossible. It's near impossible cost wise, time wise, volume wise. So the recommended dose of green leafy vegetables right now is anywhere from 5 to 7 cups a day, right? Picture the mound of 5 to 7 cups a day, right? So I was pureeing them up. I was putting them in shakes. I was putting them in my pasta sauce. I was just trying to get greens in everywhere and anywhere I could. It was a full-time job. And then getting all the different micronutrients and having tremendous diversity in your meal and being awake enough hours to eat it all is almost impossible. Okay. So that's one reason why we need them. The next is we are in a phase, not a good one, where we are so highly dependent on chemical agriculture. And what has happened in order, we've moved away from self farming and taking care of ourselves, right? So nobody has got the victory gardens, the backyard, the farm, their own homestead anymore. Everything is being done through the supermarket. Foods that don't normally grow here and aren't in season are being imported from Mexico, California. Pesticides allow chemical farmers to make 10 times more than they could without the pesticides. They're all in our food. So what's happening is the soil's getting depleted, right? And if you think about this, when you grow a plant, where does the plant get its nutrients from? It gets them from the ground, right? It pulls them out of the dirt. So our soil is pretty depleted. And what they're estimating is we're about 25 to 30 years away before our soil has absolutely nothing useful left in it if we don't start doing something about it. So again, why do we need supplements? It's not in our food. So when you look at the food chart and it talks about the nutrients on an apple, what was true 20, 30 years ago when those charts were made is no longer true today. And on top of getting what we can for nutrients out of that apple, we're also inheriting glyphosate and some of the pesticides that are in the food, which are then causing a whole other host of problems. Food is most nutritious and fresh at the time that it's picked, and then the clock starts ticking. So if we're eating a pineapple that came to us from California, it may have been picked, thrown in a truck, right? Pre-ripened. And then by the time it gets to us and when it gets here, it then gets gassed to get to the right color. And it could be anywhere 2 weeks, say, from the time that it's actually picked to the time it makes it to your supermarket. Each day, the nutrients are dwindling. So that's another issue. These are the things that we as consumers, as nurse, never knew, right? You know, I go to the store, I get a pineapple, I'm thinking, yeah, look at me eating good and fresh, right? It's not quite the situation.
So, Kay, can I sneak in and ask a quick question? So, really, we should look at what's available, what is really grown in season, and only eat that. Is that really the best way to go?
Absolutely, positively. So, in an ideal world, I'll tell you a very, very quick story. So, I've spent some time over Romania supporting their hospice program over there, and there were no stores when I went there for the first time in 15 years ago. There were no stores, no supermarkets. So, when you went to the restaurants, there were no such as condiments. So on the table would be oil, there'd be vinegars that have herbs in them. The butter was $20 a pound because it was from the local farmer and so hard to get. And that was the cost of the labor. So, but what you got at the restaurants or in your home was only those foods that were in season and grown. Now, there are root vegetables. There's stuff that you can carry over by keeping in a root cellar in different ways. But the reality of it is we are designed to eat that which is in season and as pure as we can and self-sustaining. I would love to see people go back to the whole concept of the victory gardens and being sustaining and getting the bulk of their fruits and veggies from their backyard.
And so farmers market's a second best thing if you can't grow it in your backyard?
Absolutely, positively. Local farmers, local CSAs. So your CSA is you're buying into a crop share at a local farm, and each week you go and you pick up your eggs, your vegetables. Some have meat, some have other products, but you're supporting a small and local business, and you are investing in your health majorly,
Okay.
majorly, with more than anything else you can do for yourself. It's eat local, and eat as clean and as close to the soil as you can.
Okay, thanks.
Absolutely. And let me be very clear. If you are doing things like that, my advice on supplements is very different. So I would much rather see people eating well and healthy than supplementing, but I also realize the challenges in doing that,
Okay, thank you.
right? Sure. Um, what else is causing us to need to go the direction of supplements? Smoking, coffee, alcohol, right? So as we poison and stress our system, right? And everything's about moderation. This is the no judgment zone. 80-20, 80% of the time, do the right things. If you want a few vices, have your vices, but understand that that is also putting a stress on your body and depleting things. A highly chemical environment. So the shampoos we use, the body lotions we use, the makeup we use, the things we clean our with, the things we use in our carpeting, in our clothing, everywhere. All of this stuff is in contact with our skin all day long, and deficiencies of certain minerals will start to increase the uptake of heavy metals, right? So, lead will take the place of calcium in your body. Cadmium will replace zinc. Aluminum replaces magnesium, right? These are metals we're touching all the time. Any of us that are wrapping our food in aluminum foil, right? You had no idea you were depleting yourself of magnesium in doing that, right? We've been using tinfoil our whole lives. Um, let me see. And indoor. So there is this new doctor out there who I am starting to follow, and I love him. His big thing is get outside as much as you can. His biggest issue with this whole quarantine is get outside. We are missing getting outside. That the oxygen in the air outside is far cleaner than what it is in most of our homes. Get the oxygen exchange. He feels that we all need to be taking our shoes off and getting our feet dirty in the soil and picking up the probiotics and the different things that are out there. I hate dirty feet, but if he says that that's how it's supposed to be, I'll make my feet dirty. I am such a shoe person. Like I think that's a nurse thing. Like I'm obsessive about, I don't want my feet dirty. So, but I'm trying. So there's the argument for why do we need supplements, right? There's so many things the deck is stacked against us, unfortunately. So there's that. Okay, now are they safe? Okay, so safety and choosing the right ones is so important. So yeah, most of them are safe, or they wouldn't be in a bottle over there on the counter. Okay, however, and I think this would be a really great project to do, like at the senior center. If you had and at any senior center, if you had a committee of people who work together and figure out what the best vitamin C is, what the best um, uh, pain relief is, what's the best multivitamin, what a great resource to the rest of the folks that either don't have the bandwidth or the time or the resources to do the research on this, because it takes time, right? The knowledge that I have on what I like the best has taken a lot of time, probably about the last 2 years of my life on a full time basis, learning a lot of this stuff. So, if you don't know or you can't afford a natural brand, then don't supplement, right? You don't want to put more synthetics into your body that does more harm than good, but they are safe. But I want you to think of this. Most of us, so I was raised one of 7 kids, right? So I know how to make a dollar last for 10 years. when you go into the store and you look at the vitamins, the thing that has normally driven my choice on something like that is I looked up brand A, brand B. They look about the same. Brand A is $8. This one's 10. Which one am I buying?
Brand A.
Buying the $8 one. I'm saving my $2. That is not the mindset we want when we're going supplement wise. What we want is a mindset of, I need to supplement my dietary intake because I can't get all my nutrients from my food. What would help supplement the nutrients? So you're making a food choice. And you do not want to be buying a pack of 30-cent ramen noodles to take care of your body, right? You want to upgrade to a better, to a standard that your body deserves, right? And at our age, we have earned the right to, if you're going to splurge somewhere, right, skip the fancy pocketbook and buy yourself good supplements and good all natural food, right? Shift that dollar. Quality of life. Have we not all learned during this whole pandemic that your health is everything? So it's spend and invest your money that way. Who do I trust and who do I ask? Okay, this is always the awkward question that I get. So I put it out there before you guys could ask me. Okay.
I was going to ask you that.
I know.
You're reading my mind.
And you know what? All I can do is be as honest as I can. People don't always like this advice, but this advice is true. Okay, so first of all, it would seem instinctual to me that the person I want to go to talk about supplements is going to be my dietitian or nutritionist, right? They should understand diet. What has happened is dietitians and nutritionists have fallen off the credibility scale because the ADA, the American Diabetic Association, the American Heart Association are all funded by large food industry. So their advice is always going to be fortified food as opposed to supplements. When I realized this and started to understand this and experience it myself as a diabetic, I was particularly disappointed. So, for example, when I sat down with my nutritionist and we were trying to drive my sugar levels down, she was recommending name brand cereals and breads, things that a diabetic in their longest days should never be eating, right? So that's when I started to do my research and go, So what's happened is they won't do the supplement route, but they certainly will tell you, drink fortified orange juice, drink fortified, have fortified milk, right? When in reality, what they should be preaching to you is wholesome natural products and a supplement as close as possible to the food. What's the issue with fortified foods? Well, the fortified in the food is a synthetic man-made in a factory, right? So again, is your body absorbing this? Is it valuable? So the dietitian nutritionist, okay, so I went, okay, she's off. She's not going to be a resource to me. Nurses education and supplements is a hit or miss. Some have done their homework, but none of us have been formally educated on any of this in school. Okay. So for me, this was a huge knowledge gap for me that I chose to go out and educate myself. So the nurse isn't your friend on this one. The dietitian isn't. The physician. Your physician is not going to ever advise you unless they are incredibly progressive on something that has not been FDA approved. So the doctors stay in the safety land of what is FDA approved, right? And that makes sense from a licensing perspective. This isn't a disrespect to doctors. The reality is there's only so many hours in the day. There's only so much they can know. And most of them only know about new things when the drug rep comes in and educates them because their schedules are so packed. But on the big, they don't fall under FDA purview, so they're not them. Okay. This is why this is so critical for you to do your homework. Okay. Now, who do I go to? I'm going to the pharmacist. And I know each week that comes up, I go to the pharmacist. Every single human needs a best friend that's a pharmacist. I have one.
Me too. I have a daughter.
Your daughter's a pharmacist?
She's was supposed to graduate today, but now it's been moved. But yes.
Oh, where did she go?
She's in Philly at Thomas Jefferson.
Oh, God bless. Congrats, girl.
Yeah.
I personally find the pharmacist to be the most dynamic resource in the healthcare spectrum. They are so overeducated. They know about disease, they know about wellness, they know about supplements, they know about over the counter, they know about prescription. The stuff that I learned from my pharmacist best friend is nothing short of amazing and has enhanced my career exponentially. So get yourself to a level of having that kind of an intimate relationship with your pharmacist. And how do you do that in this day and age? Wherever you get your prescription filled, all you got to do one time is bring in a bouquet of flowers, a thank you card, right? Some small token to let them know how much you appreciate them, and it's worth it because the knowledge in their head. So your pharmacist will know the most. Now they won't know everything, and there's so many supplements out there, but that's the person that you want to go to. The other thing is your pharmacist can do a check that's called a drug interaction. And what they need is your over the counter, your meds, and your supplements. They plug that right in, and bam, in 30 seconds, a listing comes up of all potential drug interactions and their level of severity. They can run this for you every single day or anytime a prescription changes. Okay. Ask for it. Drug interaction checker. It's free. You can ask them for the printout so that you have it yourself and you can bring it home and learn from it. But it is a great way to know that if you decide to take Betty Lou's vitamin B starting tomorrow, that it'll help you to know, is that interacting with anything else you're currently taking? Okay. So that pharmacist is.
So, Kay, then really before you start taking any supplement, you should see the pharmacist.
I would. So what I would do is I would make sure that they have all your over the counters. So the drug interaction is only as good as the data in, right? So I would go up to the pharmacist. I'd make sure they have all of my meds. I'd tell them what I take over the counter on a fairly regular basis, and I would say, I'm thinking about starting vitamin B. Is there anything that's going to counteract with that I'm currently taking?
Okay.
Right? Talk about a great safety check. That's question one. Then my next question would be, what do you think about this one?
Okay.
Okay. So now, buyer beware. Okay. This is where label reading is everything. Everything. If you don't know how to read labels on the back of your food and your products right now, that could be a whole class that we could be doing virtually. But it is an art form to figure out what's being put there versus what that really means. But it's critical. Now, I will tell you this, in my little 2-month journey of trying to eat clean and read all the labels and all that stuff, it was exhausting when I first started having to read the label. It was depressing. It was overwhelming. It took a lot of time. But you invest that time once, and then you know where you're going from a life perspective, right? So you know once you've done your homework, that's your multivitamin from now until the day you go, the day you kicking up daisies, right? So do it once, and that's why I say it would make a great subcommittee with you and a group of friends or at a senior center, that you guys work together to brainstorm and come up with what's your best this and that, right? Save others the work, but you got to do the work. There's no shortcuts to this, and don't believe anybody else. So what I did was I started looking for different multivitamins and vitamins for you guys and trying to get an idea of what was out there. And I came across, and I merge the name, I fudge the name up a little bit, but you can figure it out. This isn't tricky. But the number one multivitamin sold in the United States, it's made by Pfizer, one of the big pharmaceuticals. Its annual sales for this one product alone is right about $1 billion. That's with a B. $1 billion. When I took a look at this particular multivitamin that begins with the letter C, and you can sort of figure that one out, it uses synthetic just about everything in it. Okay. When I checked this out on Amazon, the price was under $10 for a 30-day supply. It was right about $10 if I recall. In it, not only does it uses an oxidized form of magnesium which the body cannot absorb. It uses synthetic vitamins in it. It has hydrogenated palm oil and trans fatty acids, which causes heart disease, and will also make worse your cholesterol issues and then all that and your hypertension. It has in it artificial flavorings and colors, and blue number 2, yellow number 6, and red number 40, which are actually known carcinogens and disrupt the mitochondria, the energy part of each cell. So there you go. There's the number 1 selling multivitamin in America right now.
So that would make me not want to take a multivitamin, that's for sure.
Right. When you look at that, you're like, you got to be kidding me. So now there's all sorts of watchdog agencies that are out there. There's the Journal of Food and Chemical Toxicity and all this other thing. But basically what they're doing is they're realizing the people that are taking these cheap multivitamins are having allergies, ADD, increased risk of cancer, as of respiratory and side effects. So that's a problem. And what's really interesting is when you do a little bit more research on this, they have this particular line of multivitamin, then they have a cleaner one.
So the bottom line, Kay, is what should we do to make sure we're getting a good multivitamin? What should we look for?
So let's go to label reading right here. Okay. So what I did was I pulled up 2 of them so that I could talk with you guys about these today, about what I see. So let's start over there on the left. Hopefully you can see that. And what I'm looking at is, so here, both of these are a vitamin C. Okay. And they're the one on the left is much cheaper. The one on the right is much more expensive. And keep in mind, what we're trying to do is replace high quality food with a high quality food supplement. So when I get over here, and here's the back of the bottle, here's the ingredients. The first ingredient is sugar. The second is glucose syrup.
Sugar.
The liquid sugar, right? Pectin, citric acid, sodium citrate, natural flavors, which are unnatural.
I was going to say, that doesn't sound right.
There is no such thing as natural flavors. And then color added. So it's telling you that there's dyes in there, but it's not telling you which one.
Okay.
There is 15 calories in this supplement, right? You should not be getting calories like that from your supplement.
Okay.
And it has in it, hold on, its only source of vitamin C is man-made ascorbic acid. Okay. So there's your vitamin C. So now you watch the news, you saw that they said take more vitamin C for your corona. You went and you got this, you basically just bought a whole bunch of sugar. Okay. So that's,
I might have bought that myself.
Well,
I'm going to have to go check the cabinet.
Well, this is the whole thing. So what I want is I want everyone checking their cabinets, and we're going to talk about this next week. So now let's go over to the other one. Yes, the other one was probably twice as expensive. Hold on, I just lost my screen. There we go. Okay. So now this is the difference. Okay. Over here, what we have is now, again, you want this coming from as close to food as possible. Fruit powder from orange peel, tangerine, grapefruit, lemon, lemongrass, capsaicin. People don't realize that peppers have a really great source of vitamin C. Flower bud powder. Okay.
So you need to be able to understand what the words are too.
Correct. So in that case, what we're looking at is this is listing out for us the Latin names for food. Right? Okay. Not all of us would know citrus paradis is grapefruit peel, but this whole label over here is food. The one to the left is all sugar.
Okay. So what other toxic ingredients should we look for in supplements, Kay?
System. It's like you're reading my mind today. Okay. So there are 6 main ingredients that we are looking for that should make you go bing, 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 bing. This has got to go in the trash. Okay. titanium dioxide, and it will say on it titanium dioxide. So some of these will they do a good job hiding them, but not all of them. Titanium dioxide, they put it out there. What is that? It's basically talc. And if any of you remember or realize, we've come a long way with accepting talc because of its respiratory irritant, its cancer causing properties. It's something we basically should not be breathing in or having in us, let alone swallowing. So that's one of them. Magnesium, sorry, I did that backwards. Magnesium silicate is your talc. Okay. It says it compares magnesium silicate to asbestos. Titanium dioxide is like a white powder. It does look like talc, and it's in a lot of cosmetics. And it makes things, it holds things together. Okay. Another cancer causing agent. Hydrogenated oil. It's the same as if we were eating hydrogenated oil in our food, right? So it increases your LDL, it decreases your HDL, it increases your trans fats and your cardiac risk factors. So
Just think you're trying to do something so good for yourself and you're really not at all.
like, this is what makes me so crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like, how can you possibly be making the situation worse by buying a wellness product?
Right.
And it just makes me nuts. Next one is so those are the first three. The next three is you're looking specifically for red dye number 40, blue dye number 2, yellow number 5. There are agencies working right now to ban these entirely. They have been banned in Europe. So the same manufacturer makes a multivitamin for the Europeans without these colors in it, but we as Americans are continuing to consume these because we like our things a certain color, which is absolutely insanity. They will alter DNA and they too will cause cancer. Artificial flavors, oh my God. Anytime you see artificial colors or artificial flavoring, just run. It means somebody made it in a lab for you to trick you. You do not want artificial orange. Go get orange, right? And then lead, mercury, and what we're calling PCBs. Where are you going to see these fairly regularly? You are going to see these in your fish oil supplements. So, because of the contamination in the ocean, we are seeing huge amounts of mercury and lead in the fish that we're eating. When you are buying a fish oil supplement, you need to know and see the testing that it has been screened and micro distilled to pull the lead and the mercury out, right?
Okay.
I know, crazy, 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 crazy that we have to do this. Okay, so the how do we take supplements safely protocol. So I'm going to go through this really, really quick because we are running out of time fast. But again, this is going to be on the Duxbury Senior Center website, so you can pull this up. How do we do this and how do we do this safely? So we choose the right product with help from either your pharmacist, doctor if you want, or your favorite smarty pants nurse, this girl. You look at why. Okay. Can you supplement this by adding something to your diet? So before you go the route of buying a supplement, could you eat better? Right. That's really the first question. Don't do trendy, do smart. Do you have blood work that indicates a deficiency? So I work really well with my doctor when I'm not making her irritated. And before I went the route of supplementing, I had my blood drawn to see what I was deficient in. And I said to her, most women are deficient in B and D, and I'm pretty sure I am too. And she rolled her eyeballs at me. And then 3 days later, called me and said, you're deficient in B and D. Okay. So if you can get blood work to support it, that's an even better way of knowing that what you're taking is working, right? An extra check and balance system. And is the deficiency caused by one of your current medications or a lifestyle habit that could be changed? So let's say you're on something, and I'm not going to name any names, but you're on a med that makes your cholesterol go up. So before you go take a cholesterol lowering supplement, is there a different med or something you could be on? So that's where your pharmacist factors in really well. So that's your pre work, right? So we're not going to just run out and buy the first thing. We're going to do the pre work. Then the next one, you're going to pick your bottle up and you're going to look for your 6 flags. Is it clear of all 6? If it is, go ahead, proceed. Okay. Have your pharmacist run your drug interaction. Before you put it past your lips, pick this up and go, this is what I've selected. Can you do me a drug interaction? Then what you're going to do is you're going to take half the dose for a couple of days. That way, if there's any kind of interactions that's going to happen, you're not going to get a full blown interaction, and you're going to be able to make the decision to go, yeah, I'm not doing this. Okay. So do a couple days of that. Then you got to commit for 30 days, right? So when people say to me, oh, I tried it twice and it didn't work, come on. If you're in this to win this, you got to do this for 30 days, and you got to take it consistently, not miss it, put it in your pillbox, and you got to pay attention. So, what is it that I want you paying attention to? And you should be doing this protocol for any new med, any new over the counter med that you take on. At the end of 30 days, stop your supplement for about 5 to 7 days. See if you see a difference. If you see no difference, don't keep pouring your money down that drain. If you do see a difference, tell a friend, right? I mean, you've found something that works good for you. What should you be paying attention to? Did you sleep better? Was your mood stable? Did you have less pain? How was your skin, hair, and nails looking? Right? These are the things you want to pay attention to at the end of the 30 days and go, okay, this was a good investment for myself. You should be doing that with all of your medications when you're when they're onboarded, right? You deserve that level of discernment. So I'm gonna pop over and see if I've got any questions. Last slide. So next week we're going to start diving into specific categories: multivitamins, vitamin C, different kind of supplements. I want to hear from you. I want to know which supplements you have questions about, because that will make next week so much more relevant for all of you.
So let's turn it over to Julie to see if we have any questions. I know we're almost out of time, but maybe we can get one question in.
Hi. Well, actually, we had a whole bunch of birthday wishes, and
Oh,
we had the notice of appreciation that they could all find this on the website. Is that correct? The Joanne, are you going to have
That's
this up on this
Yep,
PDF? Will
yep.
be up on you. 'Cause
Carol
this
has
is a
put
great,
it, or Brooke has put it up on the
yeah,
website.
it's a great PowerPoint presentation loaded with information, Kay. It's been wonderful. Thank you so much. And we'll look forward to seeing you next Wednesday at 10:30, right here at the same time, same station. This has been recorded today, if you check the date, on 5/20, and we date stamp them every week. And we thank so much Kay, and happy birthday, and thank you so much, Joanne. And we will see you
Happy
next.
birthday, Kay.
Yes.
thank
see
you all.
And if you want to see a replay of this, go to packtv.org/Duxbury. Thank you so much. See you next week.
Take care.
Bye-bye.